Welcome to my channel, Black Knight Scary. I'm so glad you found me. Please make sure to leave a like on the video as it helps my channel grow and reach more viewers. Enjoy the fresh content and subscribe now. And don't forget to click that notification bell so you don't miss a thing in the future. To have your story featured on an upcoming video, email the link in the description box below. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy these truly terrifying 4th of July horror stories. I hope everyone has a wonderful holiday this coming week and everyone is safe and sound and makes it home that night or that next day. Enjoy. Story number 1. The 4th of July was always a big deal in our small town. Fireworks lit up the night sky and laughter filled the air. This year felt different though. A strange tension hung in the air, almost like a storm brewing. I tried to shake it off as I mingled with friends, the smell of barbecue wafting through the air and the crackle of sparklers igniting joy. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I noticed him. A man stood at the edge of the party, his face half hidden in shadows, watching. My stomach churned. He looked out of place, too rigid among the relaxed energy of our group. At first, I tried to ignore him, laughing with friends, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The laughter echoed as the first firework exploded in showers of colors overhead. My friends cheered. I joined in but kept my eyes drifting back to this man. The man hadn't moved. He just stood there like a shadow, like a statue, watching. Even when the crowd shifted, he remained staring at me. After a while, I convinced myself it was all in my head. I danced with friends, letting the music drown out the unease. But every time I glanced his way, he was still there, watching, waiting. I felt a prickling sensation crawl down my spine. I wanted to believe I was safe, surrounded by friends, but the nagging thought grew. As the night wore on, the party began to wind down. People started to head home, laughter morphing into goodbyes. I lingered, wanting to savor the moment a little longer. The last firework burst overhead, a brilliant display of colors that faded into the darkness, leaving behind a stark silence. I decided it was time to leave. I said my goodbyes and turned to walk towards my car. The parking lot felt deserted, the flickering lights casting long shadows. My heart raced as I spotted the man again. This time he was closer. My instincts screamed for me to run, but I forced myself to keep walking, trying to act normal. I reached my car, fumbling for my keys. The night felt so heavy around me. As I turned to unlock the door, I saw him again, standing just a few feet away. His eyes were cold, devoid of warmth. My breath hitched in my throat.
"Hey, you lost?"
He asked, his voice low and smooth, but it sent chills down my spine. I laughed nervously, trying to play it off.
"No, I was just leaving."
He stepped closer and I felt the instinct to retreat.
"You shouldn't be out here alone."
His words sank in, a warning disguised as concern, panic surging. I fumbled with my keys, desperately trying to unlock the door. He moved even closer, his intentions clearer now. I could see the glint of something in his pocket, something that made my heart race.
"Look, I have to go."
I managed to say, my voice shaky.
"Why don't you come with me instead?"
He suggested, his smile stretching wider, more menacing. I felt trapped and my mind raced. I needed to escape. I glanced around, searching for help, but the parking lot was empty. The laughter from the party faded into the distance, leaving me utterly alone. In a moment of panic, I thrust the car door open, slid inside and locked it. My heart pounded in my ears as I looked up to see him standing there, staring. A smile twisted across his face. He stepped back as if giving me room, but not leaving, just waiting. I reached for my phone, trembling fingers dialing 911. As the call connected, the man's expression darkened. He took a step towards my car. I pressed the phone to my ear, my voice barely above a whisper as I spoke to the operator.
"Please, I think I'm being followed. I need help. Please, hurry."
But before I could say anything else, he lunged at the window, a wild look in his eyes. I screamed, my heart racing. The operator's voice was muffled, swirling around me as I scrambled to put the car in reverse. I slammed the gas pedal. The tires screeched as I tore out of the parking lot, my heart racing faster than the car. I glanced back, catching a glimpse of him standing there, rage contorting his face as the distance grew. I drove until the adrenaline subsided, my hands shaking. I found a nearby diner, parked, and tried to calm myself. I could still feel the icy grip of fear. I was safe, but that memory of that man haunted me. Days passed. I told my friends about the incident. They reassured me, but I could see the worry in their eyes. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched again. It was like a shadow that trailed behind me, lurking in every corner. Then one evening, as I sat in my living room, my phone buzzed. I opened a message from an unknown number. A single image popped up, a blurry photo of me taken from a distance. My breath caught in my throat. I dropped the phone, the screen shattering against the floor. I knew then that the threat was not over. I felt a mix of fear and anger boiling inside of me. I had escaped, but the darkness remained. Yet deep down, I also felt a flicker of hope. I had survived. I would fight back, and I wouldn't let him win. And as I stared at that shattered screen, I realized I would not let fear dictate my life. I would be vigilant. I would reclaim my freedom, but the scars of that night would linger, a bittersweet reminder of what could have been lost. Story number 2. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the backyard. Laughter bubbled up from the group gathered around the pool, their voices mingling with the sound of fireworks popping in the distance. The 4th of July party had been a success so far, but as the sun slipped behind the horizon, shadows stretched ominously across the yard. Chelsea and I floated in the water, the coolness soothing against the heat of the day. The chatter faded into the background, and we exchanged glances, feeling a sense of relief as we took a breather from the boisterous crowd.
Just us now.
Chelsea smiled, her blonde hair slicked back against her head.
Yeah, just us.
I replied, forcing a grin. For a moment, it felt like a scene from a movie, where the world was ours and nothing could touch us. But as the last glow of twilight dimmed, a chill crept in. I shivered, not from the cold water, but from an instinctual awareness that something was off. I glanced over to the patio. The party had dwindled, the laughter now a distant echo. My friends had retreated inside, leaving Chelsea and me alone.
Let's get out,
I suggested, but Chelsea shook her head.
Just a little longer,
she urged, her voice soft. I felt the tug of unease, but decided to stay. The night deepened. The stars twinkled like distant eyes, watching. Then I saw them. 3 men loitering near the edge of the yard, their postures shifting from casual to predatory. They had been standing there for a while, but now they moved closer, their intentions hidden in the shadows. I felt a knot tighten in my stomach.
Chelsea,
I whispered, my voice barely above the water's gentle lapping against the pool's edge.
What?
She replied, not taking her eyes off the fireworks bursting in the sky.
Let's go inside, now.
My heart raced. I could see the men more clearly now. Their faces were masked by darkness, but their eyes reflected an unsettling hunger.
Why?
Chelsea laughed, but the sound was strained. She must have sensed it too. As if to answer for her, one of the men stepped forward, a smirk playing across his lips. His friends followed, cutting off our escape. The air thickened with tension.
Hey, ladies,
he called, his voice smooth yet laced with something sinister.
You shouldn't be out here all alone.
Panic surged through me.
We're fine,
I said, trying to sound confident.
Why don't you come over here?
Another man suggested, his tone mocking.
We just want to talk. I think it's time to go.
I whispered to Chelsea, urging her to swim towards the steps, but she hesitated, her eyes darting between the men and me.
I don't want to leave,
she said, her voice trembling now.
Chelsea, please.
I pleaded. The men took another step closer, their intentions growing clearer.
You both look so lonely,
the third man said, his smile widening.
Leave us alone.
I shouted, suddenly feeling bold.
Or what?
The first man taunted, stepping into the glow of a distant garden light. His face twisted in a grotesque grin. My heart pounded. I knew we had to leave, but the pool felt like a cage now. I swam to the edge, ready to pull myself out.
Come on.
I urged Chelsea, panic clawing at my chest. Then I heard them laugh, a chilling sound that made the hairs on my neck stand up. They were closing in, their movements calculated. I felt the water shift beneath me, a reminder of how vulnerable we were.
Hey,
I shouted again, my voice breaking.
get away from us.
Suddenly a firework exploded overhead, lighting up the night sky. The brilliant flash illuminated everything for a brief moment. I saw the men's faces twisted with malice, but in that instant I also saw the garden gate behind them slightly ajar. This was our chance.
Swim.
I yelled. I dove under, pulling Chelsea with me. We moved as fast as we could, the water swirling around us, muffling the sounds of their shouts. I could see the urgency in Chelsea's movements. We broke the surface, gasping for air, and swam towards the edge of the pool. The men cursed, their silhouettes dark against the firework-lit sky. I climbed up the ladder, urging Chelsea to follow. She stumbled as she got out, and I grabbed her hand.
Run!
I screamed, and we took off towards the gate. Adrenaline surged. We dashed through the yard, and I glanced back to see the men hesitating, confused by our sudden escape. We burst through the gate and didn't stop running until we reached the street. Breathless, we paused, leaning against a lamppost. The fireworks and laughter faded into the distance.
We made it.
Chelsea gasped, her eyes wide with shock. I nodded, relief flooding through me. We were safe, at least for now. That night had taken a dark turn, but in that moment we had found our strength, together. And as we caught our breath, I realized that survival was a victory worth celebrating, even if the night had turned sinister. A new firework lit up the sky, bright and hopeful, reflecting in our eyes. Story number 3. The sky was deepening into indigo, a lingering warmth settling over the beach. The 4th of July party buzzed with laughter, fireworks illuminating the night, but Kyle and I began to drift away from the crowd. We wanted a moment of quiet, away from the raucous cheers and the smell of grilled burgers. As we strolled along the shoreline, the sound of waves crashing against the sand felt comforting. It was just us, 2 friends enjoying the night, caught in a bubble of carefree joy. But then the laughter faded. The party felt far away, and an unsettling sensation crept up my spine. I glanced back, and that's when I saw them. 4 men lingered at the edge of the party, their laughter too loud, too harsh, cutting through the air like a knife. I tightened my grip on Kyle's arm, my heart racing.
Hey man, let's head back.
I suggested, trying to keep my tone casual. Kyle nodded, but the men were quick. They approached us, faces obscured by the shadows of the night, their intentions as dark as the sky above.
Hey, where are you 2 going?
One of the men called out, his voice dripping with menace. The blood rushed in my ears as we slowed, instinctively falling into a defensive stance. Kyle stepped in front of me, eyes scanning the group.
We're not interested,
he said, though his voice trembled slightly. The men laughed, stepping closer.
Yeah, come on, don't be like that.
I could see the glint of something metallic in one of the man's hands. Panic surging through me. I felt the weight of fear pressing down, threatening to crush us both.
Run.
I whispered to Kyle and we bolted. We sprinted down the beach, the sand shifting beneath our feet, but they were right behind us. The sound of their footsteps thundered in my ears. I could hear them shouting, their laughter morphing into snarls of excitement. Adrenaline surged as we reached the car, but they were closing in. Kyle and I fumbled with the keys, our hands shaking, breath heavy. Just as I turned the key in the ignition, one of the men grabbed the door, wrenching it open. Kyle reacted instinctively, throwing a punch that landed squarely on the man's jaw. I felt a flicker of hope. Maybe we could fight them off. The others surged forward, but we were fueled by desperation. I swung widely, connecting with the gut and feeling a rush of satisfaction, but they were relentless. I felt a sharp pain in my side as one of them struck me.
Get in,
Kyle shouted, pushing me towards the passenger seat. I dove in and he followed, slamming the door shut. The engine roared to life, and I felt a surge of relief wash over me. The headlights pierced the darkness as I turned to see them retreating, their faces twisted in rage. We sped away, leaving the beach behind us. The thrill of survival mixed with the haunting reality of what had just happened. I glanced at Kyle, a mixture of relief and fear reflected in his eyes.
We made it,
He said, voice shaking.
yeah.
I replied through the weight of what we had faced looming heavy. As we drove into the night, the stars blinked down on us, indifferent to our terror. But we were alive. We had fought back, and somehow that felt like a victory. Thank you guys for watching and listening to the very end of this video. And if you like the content that you listened to tonight, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Be sure to check in the comments section and let me know where you're watching from and who you are. If you would like your scary experience featured on an upcoming video, email the description in the box below. Have a happy 4th of July holiday this coming week, my friends. Like I always say, stay safe out there.